is Randy Martinez here with David Bradshaw. We just wanted to introduce to you, for some of you that might not be familiar with the speakers we're going to have at the SOZO conference this year, December 6th through the 8th. First of all, we're bringing in John and Carol Arnott from the Toronto Fellowship up in Toronto, Canada.
John and Carol are carriers of revival. Most of you are probably aware, but in the mid-90s, there was an outpouring in Toronto, and it's really gone fairly unbroken for well over a decade. And very few people that I've ever known carry the presence of the Lord like John and Carol carry the presence of the Holy Spirit and are able to steward and participate in the ministry of the Holy Spirit. They have just been true father and mother in the realm of revival and spiritual awakening and the power of the Holy Spirit. And so it is really an honor to have them with us, given what they've stewarded. I mean, it's the outpouring in Toronto is arguably one of the most significant outpourings in the past couple of decades. And it really touched the nations of the earth, what transpired in Toronto. And so they're coming to our region. I'll encourage you to connect, not because we're lifting up any individual or any man, but just because they really have been pioneers, and there is an impartation to that.
John and Carol are an important part of the narrative, of the prophetic narrative of the House of Prayer. Bob Jones told Mike Bickle in, I believe, 1983 that the end-time youth revival movement would come in 10 years with the wine. And 10 years later, the Lord visited John and Carol in Toronto with the wine, a year later with the fire in Brownsville. And we believe that third wave of the wind of the Spirit is just about to hit America, and it's just about upon us. So we want to bring these guys in to help us steward what's about to happen.
So we'll have John and Carol. We'll also bring in Corey Russell from IHOP. And Corey has just been with us many times, but he's a real carrier of breakthrough, the fire of the Holy Spirit, prayer, fasting, contending, the urgency of the hour. Just really brings that DNA of the house of prayer with a fresh revival kind of edge to it, prophetic edge. And so we're excited to have him with us again. And then we also have Don Potter. It's his first time ever having Don, but Don was part of that early Morning Star worship movement that really towards the mid to the late 90s really broke incredible ground in terms of creativity. They broke a lot of the boxes that worship had lived in, and they experienced a profound visitation in the context of praise, the prophetic. In the mid-90s, many of you are aware, where just the kabod, the glory of God, came down in gathering of artisans and musicians giving 100% of their ability and expression to the Lord. And so Don really carries a unique emphasis for worship and for the presence of God. He was, of course, a professional musician in Nashville. If you look at his discography, it's quite remarkable, the people he's either produced or played with. A lot of well-known people from the music industry. But God plucked him out for a season, told him to quit the music industry and go take his instrument, face the wall, and play till he felt the presence of the Lord. Yeah. And so he literally became, I think it was a plumber, gave up. Here he had this up-and-coming music career in Nashville, and he left it all, went to his bedroom, faced the wall, and played until he felt the presence of God. And then after an extended period of time of doing that, the Lord said, now take it to the church, which he did, and the rest is history. And the very first Morning Star Worship and Warfare Conference, where the cloud, the kabod of the glory of God filled the gathering. And he's been a pioneer to release musicians, creative people into the fullness of their calling. So we're bringing these streams together at this conference, and we believe it's going to be significant for our region. So I want to invite you to join us. You can register online at theprayerfurnace.org.